Greetings, family. My name is Vicki Dillard, and thank you so much for tuning in to my personal channel here at VickiDillard.tv. I'm so pleased that you are with me today, baby. I know if you're on the East Coast, you like Vicki. It is midnight over here. Family, I'm not playing with y'all. I'm gonna run in really, really quick. It's late, has so much to do. But I said, look, I'm gonna get on here tonight, and at the right time, maybe the right people will hear this broadcast. I know the right people hear this broadcast is meant to hear it, and maybe some of you all will be able to see this when you wake up in the morning. Talk black to me, somebody, family. I had to come on here tonight while I had an opportunity. I don't see anybody else coming in just yet. Let me let folks know. Like I said, I'm doing this in advance, knowing full well that this is outrageously late. But like I said, at the right time, y'all will hear this broadcast. Family, I have a little bit of a ritual. As you come in, be sure to come in giving us a big thumbs up. Give me a big thumbs up, thumbs up. Be sure to like, be sure to share, be sure to hype, do all the things. Okay, looks like I see, look, somebody up. One or two of y'all up. Talk black to me, somebody. Who is that in the chat? What does it say? Soft or Sophia? New one. Who is that? Star Thomas. So it's a couple of y'all in here at midnight. Y'all crazy. But listen, so maybe I'll get off at a reasonable time tonight since it ain't too many of y'all, because see, y'all energy be throwing me for loops and stuff. Talk black to me, somebody. So let me get to where I'm going. Let me fix my roll so this don't fall out. Talk black to me. See, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all hit that thumbs up button and share. Y'all know how this go. Every time I go live, it seems like it's a little bit of a little something that want to show out. Okay. Anyway, it's going to have to just do. Everybody hit that thumbs up button for me. And share. Yes. Thumbs up, share. Okay, if you can leave that alone. All right, family. Listen, I wanted to talk to you all about something here, just really quick. Now, I've been discussing some of this before on African Diaspora News channel. Somebody say, good evening. Okay, hey, health to you too, beloved. Hey, queen, looking beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, what y'all doing up this late? I said, what y'all doing up this late? I was crazy busy, literally all day, just getting down to sit for a minute because I got so much stuff going on. I said, look, I'm gonna get on tonight, at least put this out there, and then y'all see me again later on this week. Yes, peace, goddess. Thank you so much. Listen, family, don't forget that I have my upcoming Ancestors webinar. It's going to be called How Bloodlines Shift Trade Lines. I've done many public offerings, meaning I didn't even charge for several hours long webinars. You all were getting breakthroughs. Folks were talking just how crazy my esoteric and spiritual knowledge is, and about the insight that you all received by coming. Of course, my students over the years, this is the reason why my students rock with me the way that they do and always attend my schools and my courses, because it ain't no capping over here. It just is what it is, just miracles and magic. And that's how we just get down. And it's real. And so, but the divine has been giving me some other insights that I'm meant to share with you. But this specific one, where I'm going to be talking about how bloodlines shift trade lines, which has been an ongoing theme that I've been teaching on for quite some time, is the fact that people, the world, the powers that shouldn't be, they're running our world and our economy. And for the most part, it's a game, and they have us shut out of it. How many of y'all know that? If your credit is not a certain way, if you didn't hail from a certain school, if you don't have certain credentials, certain degrees, if you don't have a form of maybe even nepotism, how many of you all know with what's going on with inflation? What's going on with the cost, what's going on with how they're misusing our money and sending trillions of dollars all over the world for bloodshed. Y'all see how they send up and giving our open enemies here in these United States of America resources, as they've been doing for so many years, and they have leveled up and continue to level up and created the most powerful nation on the planet based off of our black blood. They're playing in our faces. They're giving foreigners, legal and illegal foreigners, money and resources. Bloody wars all over the world. Your State Department here in the United States for the how many of y'all know for like 7 or 8 consecutive years, I think it's at least 7 consecutive years, the State Department of the United States has failed a financial audit. I've given you all the receipts. I've done multiple broadcasts on this as well, to where it's so convoluted. Your government, the State Department, cannot account for, are y'all listening? Trillions, that's with the T, of dollars. Somebody say it's not too late to hear from the beloved. Oh, you said it's not too late, baby. It's midnight on the East Coast. If y'all over there, and if, depending on where you at, you know, here, there, and everywhere, I'm on a different timeline, but I'm saying some of my folks out there on the East Coast say, I'm like, this is crazy, but I'm gonna come on real quick. Listen. So your government, the State Department you know, there, of course, I'm sure there are other departments as well, but your State Department has failed consecutively, at least for 7 years straight. They have failed consecutively their financial audits to the tune of trillions of dollars. Now, how many of you all know I've made the point over time that I believe that they are laundering money and that they are using government agencies to funnel money into weapons corporations and other transnational corporations? And the fact that they're going to play in our face and act like giving Black Americans money that belongs to us is an issue and is a problem. And I'm talking about with Trump in office now too. I reminded you all in several broadcasts that in modern times, do you all know that there are certain Armenian immigrants, the people that's over there that fought the Turks 100 years ago? Do you all know that because they said that they experienced a genocide with Turkish people over there in their country a century ago, do you all know that there are provisions in the IRS treaty in the United States where they can get 6-figure tax write-offs? That's Kim Kardashian, them lineage, them Armenians. Ask yourself, why is it that both Republican and Democrats have permitted for many years Armenian immigrants getting American tax write-offs for something that took place a century ago? I'm only bringing this up to let you all know that there are creative ways that tangibles can be funneled to foundational Black Americans, to Black Americans, whichever title you want to go by, to freedmen, or what have you. And some elements of the ADOS folks, because I don't go with all y'all over there, because I was, you know, supporting some of y'all's folks with your little original leaders that are weirdos over there, and they came against me. So that's the issue that I had with some of them over there. The y'all's little leaders are weirdos and did some little stupid stuff. So even before FBA was formed as a name, as an official name to refer to our lineage, y'all's like ADOS people was doing weird little style. But I know some of y'all don't know that history, and maybe some of you all don't have that motive, but I'm just making it clear. If your heart is right and you're for justice and you want reparations, you're not trying to do all that tricknology stuff and twisting up political stuff and all kind of other weird agendas with that. And damn sure if you're not coming against one of your foremost Black grassroots voices of justice, and your little leadership over there targeting me publicly, child, you must be crazy. I'm making the point that they're playing in our faces, and there are creative ways of getting us tangibles. And specifically in alignment with the way that Dr. Claude Anderson, the great Dr. Claude Anderson, has taught us. And of course, this is throughout his many books, but especially Powernomics. Talk Black to me, somebody. By the way, family, y'all can make sure to go support him. And you can go to powernomics.com and still order his books and get this knowledge and be of support to him and his family. But our brother is legendary. Our elder is a legend in our midst. Yes. Well, anyway, he has told us about reparations. He has told us also about group economics, and specifically related to Black people, among many, many other things. Yes. My point is that we have the blueprint and we're not guessing about it. We know how to do this, right? Are y'all listening? But let's get to where we're going, because baby, it is midnight. in some parts of the world. It's a little earlier than that here, but it's still way, 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 way late. But anyway, I'm bringing this to your attention to let you all know and to remind you all of the very dire situation that we're in. So I'm going to talk a little bit here about two things. Number one, I'm going to talk about Angela Rye, and then I'm going to talk about again Joy Reid and Angela Rye all of a sudden discussing reparations. The very people and groups that wanted Black Americans, us, to hush during the election cycles when Kamala and them was running, Joe Biden and them was running, but the Democrats were running the past couple of cycles. They want us to keep that on the hush hush so their little buddies can win. And once the Democrats get in office, the Democrats keep giving us a middle finger. I want you all to know that they're in very serious times that we're dealing with. These very people that mocked us, that dogged us, they're now being exposed in multiple different ways, and they're absolutely on the run. And I'm trying to let you all know that it's very important that we, number one, stay on code and that we keep our foot on their necks. It was another point that I wanted to make a little bit ago, but I'll circle back and get back to that. Yes, everybody, as you come in again, hit that thumbs up button, share, share, share. Hey, somebody say, hey, Empress. Somebody say, you caught on the East Coast. Somebody say, ooh, I caught it, baby. I cannot believe y'all. I had to do this now. So let me hurry up so that I can get this uploaded at a decent time. Yes, after going live. Yes. Now, family, how many of you all know that Angela Rye started a podcast called it Native Land or whatever, right? It was her, Andrew Gillum, and Tiffany Cross. Angela, of course, was formerly on CNN. She ain't anymore. They didn't want her back. They fired her or didn't renew her contract, something like that. Tiffany Cross, same thing. Tiffany Cross was on MSNBC. Tiffany Cross, who dogged us publicly, told her audience not to listen to folks like us. Baby, they fired Tiffany. Tiffany tried to sue him and stuff. She threatened to sue him. None of that worked. And so, of course, Tiffany has been feeling like a loser ever since. Tiffany suffers. She thinks that she's better than other people, that somehow she's still like disillusioned and going through a lot of mental trauma, it seems, because she's not on MSNBC. And so because she feels that people like me are beneath her, because, you know, she came out and said, you know, she can't take people with nails and hair seriously. Girl, if you don't sit down, y'all be tripping me out because some of you all think that because you have little short hair, that's natural, that you deep. Some of y'all think that because you wear locks or you wear a wrap on your head, that makes you more spiritual. Where the hell they do that at? Vicki, don't even go there because I could do a whole sermon on that. Like, how did y'all think that was spirituality? How did you all conflate that mess to deepness? Talk black to me. That's crazy. Somebody said that's crazy. And they're disillusioned. So because she's been fired, she hasn't, and the fact that she has to use alternative media, every day she feels more and more like a loser. So the fact that she had to do that Native Land podcast with Angela Rye and Andrew Gillum, of course, Andrew Gillum is rejected too. Remember, Andrew Gillum was a mayor in Florida. Then he was a gubernatorial candidate for a minute. He didn't win that, but he was scaring to death the Republican Party because he was so effective in debating some of them. And of course, he ended up getting caught up in a scandal some years ago. He ended up getting a case with the feds. He was able to beat the case with the feds, but then he was caught up, you know, in another little scandal when he was alleged to have been doing some drugs with a white boy. With both of their little stuff was tooted up in the hotel while his wife and kids was at home. Something like that. Well, the Democrats, even though all of them are Democrats, and even though Andrew Gillum was alleged to be an upcoming rising Democrat darling, how many of y'all know that the white Democrat establishment didn't really have his back in the way that they do Epstein cover-ups? So he kind of was just left out there. Well, Andrew Gillum and them, all the rejects from the Democrat, either party, Democrat groups, Democrat media outlets, all the rejects got together, Democrat rejects got together, started the podcast. And they just had their little fits and starts. I guess they don't feel like that they're as important as they feel like they meant to be because they used to have access to millions of people. Now they all feel like losers. Well, Andrew Gillum. Y'all want to see this? Y'all look at your screen. Let me pull it back up. Andrew Gillum. This article is from NBC News. Y'all see the date of this article? Do you all see the date of this article? Oh, let me put it to where you can see it. Now y'all can't see it. Can y'all see the date of this article? Let me see. Y'all should be able to see it now. So this says what? July 8th. This is from, look. What is this? That's, let me turn it the other way. I do this every time. That's from NBC News. Y'all see that? What happened? Here's the headline. Here's the headline. So just the other day, ex-Florida gubernatorial candidate, what? Andrew Gillum arrested on drug possession charges. Gillum, who was mayor of Florida's capital from 2014 to 2018, came within less than a percentage point of being elected to the state's first Black governor, losing to Ron DeSantis by fewer than 34,000 votes. Now, this is the reason why I believe he ended up getting a deep scandal, because y'all know Ron DeSantis is a devil. And so, again, Andrew Gillum was very, 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 very effective in his debates against him. So Ron DeSantis was really getting in trouble. So I believe that's another reason why he ended up having to go through a whole lot of stuff. But he just got in trouble recently now. Now watch what it says. So this is dated July 8th, 2026. Now remember, I told you he had a scandal from back in the day. Then he had that Fed case, but he was able to beat the Fed case. The Fed case was something that appeared to may have even been trumped up. But either way, he prevailed in that. But he still was in another thing where he was alleged, he think I footage him in a hotel, a room or whatever, with this white boy with their little stuff tooted together, doing some stuff. So anyway, this article, what is the latest scandal? Y'all listening? So he's a Democrat darling that's in the scandal now. Angela Rye's little co-host, right? It says former Florida gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum has been arrested on drug possession charges in Alabama after police say they pulled him over for erratic driving and found marijuana and meth in his vehicle. In the latest legal trouble for the ex-Tallahassee mayor, who narrowly lost to Republican Ron DeSantis for governor in 2018 and was once considered a rising star of the Democrat Party, Gillum, 46, I'm actually older than him, I'm 47, was arrested on July 2nd in Daphne, is that how you pronounce it, in Alabama? About 11 miles, 17.7 kilometers east of Mobile on Alabama's Gulf Coast. He is charged with marijuana possession and unlawful possession of a controlled substance. Jail records show he was released on July 3rd. Court records for Gillum's case were not yet available at the time of this. I'm just giving y'all a little more background. Message seeking comment was left for the local district attorney's office. Gillum is co-host of the politically themed Native Land Pod, which won the NAACP Image Award for Outstanding News and Information Podcast in 2025. Now, how many of y'all know I did a broadcast on the fact that the NAACP named Native Land Podcast, gave them even an Image Award? That's how you know another reason NAACP is a fraud on so many levels in many places. There are very few NAACP branches that are not frauds. I'm not saying none exist, but there are hardly any. Talk back to me, somebody. Now, the reason why I did a show on that at the time, this is a side note. The reason why I did a show at the time that the NAACP gave them an Image Award, because that was around the time that Angela Rye and Tiffany Cross, when Tiffany was a co-host. Tiffany is not the co-host no more, allegedly, from my understanding. Now, I ain't looked deep into it, but when you go to their page for Native Land, let me see if I can pull it up. When you go to Native Land's channel, look who it shows. That's Bakari Sellers. Y'all probably used to see Bakari Sellers. He's an attorney. So y'all saw him a whole lot on CNN, right? Well, he's a new host with Angela. Your girl Tiffany is out of there. Now, at the time, that the NAACP gave them this award last year. I did a broadcast on it because right before that, guess what happened? Angela Rye and Tiffany did a show saying whether or not they should even be on anymore. They was talking about they was thinking about quitting, and they wanted their audience to tell them whether or not they should stay. That's how you know the NAACP Image Award to them is a fraud. They had just did a podcast asking their viewers to chime in because they was thinking about quitting. Feeling like apparently, ostensibly big fat losers. They did a whole public podcast asking the audience whether or not they should even keep the thing going. Right around the time that the Image Award. That's how you know. That's why I tell y'all can't get the algorithm playing your minds out. You can't believe the algorithms all the time. A lot of the algorithm is lies. Some of it, a little bit of it is truth, and a lot of it is a lie. Talk back to me, somebody. They knew they was feeling like losers. They knew that all of them, from being Andrew Gillum, really could have been the next governor of Florida. And to be honest, the way the Republicans get down too, for all I know, he's really supposed to be the governor. You know, the Republicans, they real big, and Democrats are too. But Republicans, they are real brazen about their theft when they be committing fraud, election fraud. So for all I know, they committed fraud, and you know what I'm saying, because he lost by such a small margin. But I remember some of his debates, and even though I'm definitely not no Democrat, I don't give a damn about none of them, and I'm damn sure ain't no Republican either. I'm saying in the minds of the masses, if you were watching how Andrew Gillum was debating versus Ron DeSantis knew he was in trouble, is what I'm saying. That didn't look good. Andrew Gillum was a very effective debater standing up to Ron DeSantis. So I believe a lot of that stuff that ended up going on, he ended up getting caught up in the situation so that, you know, because of his rise and frankly, he probably could, you know, probably did win. And they, you know, but I'm saying the Democrats really didn't come to his rescue like they should. You see what I'm saying? So the long and short of it is that there's some trouble going on over there at Native Land Podcast, which I don't really care nothing about because I know they feel like losers. But I think there's a reason why Tiffany Cross is no longer a part of the official banner. Y'all see that? So I don't know if she's coming back later. I don't know if she's taking a leave. I don't know if she's saying I'm going to be a little piece of a host, but don't put my name up there because I'm better than all of that. I cannot lower myself to the likes of Vicki Dillard. I told y'all I can't take nobody with nails and hair seriously. That's literally what Tiffany Cross said. She said she can't listen to nobody with no hair and nails. Girl, you are not special. Y'all see that? Now watch this. I done said all that now, right? So the new host that's been on there lately is who? Angela, formerly of CNN, and she formerly used to be an aide on Capitol Hill, which is Washington, D.C., right? Angela Rye, and she's an attorney. Andrew Gillum. Andrew Gillum was once former mayor of Tallahassee, and he really very likely should have been, if he wasn't really technically already the governor. Should have been the governor. Didn't happen. Dealt with scandal after scandal. And then now who? Bakari Sanders of CNN. And Bakari Sanders is also a civil rights lawyer. So you got all these people that on paper should still command the audience of millions, and they feel like that they are starting over. You understand what I'm saying? So now they're the new host. We're on their show with Andrew Gillum. Now Angela Rye and Bakari, they end up having to address the scandal of that Democrat co-host. Y'all want to hear what they said? Here's a little bit of what they said. Now, I don't want y'all to suffer to have to hear all this craziness, but I just want to give you a little bit of this, okay? Because I'm going to go in and out, and I'm playing a little bit of this under the Copyright Act of 1976. So, fam, when I stop and go, there's a reason I'm doing this because I don't want no problems. So I'm not going to let too much go without me talking in between. Yes? Now, I want y'all to listen to just a little bit of this. I won't make you suffer too much because I suffered to watch this whole thing. So here they are, Angela Rye and Bakari Sellers addressing their colleague just recently getting busted, okay?
Native Land Pod is a production of iHeartRadio in partnership with Reason Choice Media.
Okay, let me fast forward because I don't want to hear this entrance again. Again, I'm gonna be moving around. Y'all, let me know if you can hear it in just a second when I ask you, when I put it up to the screen. Thumbs up, everybody. And again, everybody, make sure that you get your seat for my upcoming Ancestors webinar, where we're going to be talking about how our bloodline carries the money codes. I don't care if you're broke. I don't care if your account is overdrawn. I don't care if you are on assistance. I don't care if your credit is horrible. We're going to be creating resources out of nothing using our spiritual and bloodline vibration. That's what this is about. This is about us doing a collective ceremony to clean up our bloodline. I'm going to give you wisdom and insight on how we can begin to tap into recalibrating ourselves spiritually so that it can affect our outcomes. I know it may sound crazy to you, but the powers that shouldn't be know that a part of our magic, our bloodline, and a part of our melanin is that we actually have the power to create resources outside of traditional systems and institutions of money. If that interests you, the link is pinned above in the chat, or if you're watching this later, we'll have it pinned below in the comments. Yes? Or go to my website directly at VickiPlanet.com. Scroll down on the first page and you will see where you can save your seat. This is meant to bless your bloodline and put you on a new trajectory of success. But it takes a little time. And we're in very auspicious times for us to be appealing to our ancestral lines to remake our realities. If you know that there is some ancestral curses on your life, if you feel like there's stagnancy, if you feel like that there are patterns that you know that the previous generations went through, this is for you. If there are things, proclivities, and attributes in your family that you're ashamed of, and quiet as it's kept, some of you know that you got some things that you've done, that you know that a former family member has done, and you want to break that. This is where you want to start. And once you get you in alignment, because everything you see came from the unseen. That's why you do spiritual work first. Then you work on the outside things. See, when you start trying to change things on the outside first, when you try to get your credit right first by doing regular things, by getting a degree, getting more training, doing all this stuff on the outside, using your labor and your energy for that, and you have not first dealt with the spiritual stuff, you're going to find that no matter what credentials you have on the outside, you'll still find that there are unusual challenges. We all have challenges, but some of our challenges are actually connected to our bloodlines. We want to be able to address some of that. This is for you. So the link is above, or go to VickiPlanet.com. Thank you for your patience. Virgil, your $20 gift is blessed 1,000-fold. Mwah, kisses to you. Now, thank you all for your patience on that quick commercial. Now tell me if you all can hear the sound. Again, this is just the other day, Angela Rye and her co-host, Bakari Sellers, a few days ago, less than a week ago, according to this post, addressed their colleague getting busted again in another scandal. Somebody said, yes, gorgeous, we need that deeply. Ashe. So make sure you're there. Make sure you and your family are there. It's a private offline webinar. I'm going to be giving you wisdom from the ancients. When ancient civilizations were able to thrive, I'm going to tell you how they did it ancestrally. That's number one. And then number two, we're going to do a collective ceremony together from your home. There are going to be instructions you're going to get before you come there. But I'm going to guide a spiritual ceremony that's going to address ancestral things. And then also I'm going to give you solutions in the future on things that you can do. Because how many of you all know it's an ongoing process of recalibrating your bloodline? But this is a beginning, and this is a very auspicious time to do it. And there is nothing more important in your life that you need to invest in than your very existence and your spiritual connection. So this is meant to bless you now and in the future. So you don't think the most important thing is not even anything you got going on. Nothing is more important than your spiritual recalibrating your spiritual line, because guess what? It affects everything. If your children are acting up in a certain way, sometimes there are marital issues that you have. Some things, there are health issues that you have, economic issues that you have. Some of this stuff can be traced ancestrally. That's the reason why some of your religions tell you it's demonic to honor your ancestors. They tell you that because they know if they tell you the truth, if they don't keep you tethered to a white-skinned, blue-eyed, stringy-head Jesus, if they don't keep you stuck in Christianity with the wrong mindset and the wrong theology, if they don't keep you stuck in Islam and other religions with the wrong mindset, they know they don't care. They don't care about you calling on Jesus. That ain't got nothing to do with shifting the economy, shifting the trajectory of your bloodline. They want you calling on the blood of Jesus. I just said something right there. They want you to call on the blood of Jesus and say, F your ancestors' blood. They want you focused on the Calvary over there in the Middle East from 2,000 years ago. But they don't want you to give a doggone about the Calvaries that happened in Mississippi when your aunties and your uncles and your mamas and your daddies were strung up on trees. They tell you that none of that matters. But you get emotional about a Jesus you never even met. Somebody just called me the queen of the new black media. Thank you, precious. And I know that scares you because they made your religion preeminent and told you that if you didn't accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, you're going to hell. Those were all tricks that they gave black folks. They reprogrammed us and told you all those things related to the most ancient black magical rituals are demonic so that you never tap into your power. And you still sit up here talking about you waiting on Jesus to come back. Even if you don't believe the stuff that I'm saying, you need to make yourself available to the knowledge to hear it first. Then you use your discernment. Again, the link is above. July 31st. Don't you miss it. This is for you and your family line. Enough of that. Y'all ready? Thumbs up, share, share, share. Hype, 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 or whatever the stuff is called. Okay, y'all, here she go. Her and Bakari are addressing their colleague getting caught in another drug thing.
While we keep Andrew at the forefront of our hearts and minds, we hope that he utilizes this platform in the very near future to tell his story, just as he's done before. But I think it's necessary we have honest conversations about faith, about help, about questions, about addiction, and about making sure that we're there for our family members when they need us most. And so that's my introduction to the show. I wanted to start with a very big question for my sister, Angela. I know what her inclination is.
Listen, y'all.
All the time. Angela's very first mode is to go into protection. And for those of you all who know and love Angela, you know that she will protect you fiercely first and ask questions second. And so my question to all of you all is...
Now, I want y'all to keep that in mind. So in their podcast they did, without their colleague Andrew there, they're addressing their colleague getting caught up with a recent arrest. And the first thing he says about Angela is that she is a avid defender of those that she loves, and then she asks questions next. Keep that in mind that he said that, okay? I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you how she defends people.
When you see someone going through something that you love,
I'm gonna skip around because it's too long. Y'all listen.
And I'm going to tell you why. There's always something that is going around online, like a meme that says to check on your strong friends.
Yeah.
And the reason why there's this meme that says to check on your strong friends is because we are the ones, the people who work on this show, the people who host this show, the people overwhelmingly who listen to the show. Those are the strong friends. You know, these are the people who will always be there, always figure out how to hold it together. And Andrew has been holding it together since he was in middle school.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm saying this because there are so many Andrews in our lives. This isn't us, you know, pontificating on Andrew's story. It is his to tell. But I can tell you what I've observed from knowing him over 20 years. Andrew has always been the strong friend. He is always the one who has the right thing to say. He's always the most compassionate. He's always the most articulate. He's always the first to show up. He's always the first to lean in. He's always figuring out how to provide. He is always figuring out what is in our next best interest. And I'm saying that because
okay, y'all, watch where she get ready to go with this. Everybody hit that thumbs up, but I know, baby, I have to skip around with her. And I didn't want y'all to hear that, but you got to pick up her energy for a minute. Miss Cynthia, thank you for your gift. Your gift is blessed 1,000-fold. Precious. She said, hey, beautiful queen, you look radiant. Bottom line, no checks, no votes. That's right, Cynthia. Miss Cynthia, hey, she's been a long time supporter as well. Family, y'all keep listening, okay? I can't hardly take it either. I'm trying to skip around because it's so crazy with the points that she's going to get to. But just listen, y'all.
What I want to start with is Andrew, my strong friend, who may be going through a really challenging time that you all may perceive wrongly as weak, always has a home on Native Land Pod. It was Andrew's choice not to be on today.
Correct.
We didn't remove him. He's not suspended. He's not terminated. He's not in timeout. This is Andrew's choice. It is his home, and it is up to him on when he wants to return. And so I'm saying this because, one thing that I cried about, honestly, this morning, because, you're always trying to figure out, could I have done something different?
That's my question.
Could I have, getting back to your question, what could we do differently for all of us when grief hits, when a loss comes?
Girl, please get to the point, girl, please. Y'all see the destruction? Baby, I know that ain't even the word for it, but I just gotta go through. Y'all see how I suffer for y'all? Now I gotta skip around and try to find the closest next part of what maybe somewhat makes sense. Nothing she say makes sense, but I'm saying the point that I'm trying to make. Y'all listen.
On the podcast.
Well, to be honest, it was hard to get a word out with you and Jasmine up there, but we fought through it. We fought through it, but
I'm not doing this with you. You talk. Y'all go over and back the minutes like they do in debates.
But my only thing is what can we do more of? And what I don't want to happen, and this is what happens to our strong friends. It happens to me as well. Is I go into avoidance. I go into, let me not. What's the Donnell Jones song? I don't want to bore you. I don't want to
let Donnell sing it though. But keep going.
Whatever. I don't want to bore people with my problems and issues. And then my anxiety just goes crazy. It just gets the best of me and it grips with me. And so, you have these worries because people, before you post things on social media,
watch this, y'all.
People's families and children in particular see the little jokes that you make, right? And it's just so much that goes into this echo chamber that we've seen it happen before. We've seen people become recluses before. We've seen people who we kind of toss aside. We've seen people who sometimes don't want to deal with the trauma of what's happening outside. And what I would tell, what I'm very mindful of, and I'll call a few names, is, Sean Pittman reached out, Brian Benjamin reached out, Jared Lodeholt reached out.
Okay, I'm finna skip again because it's not the part.
People who reached out just showing.
Okay, now watch what she getting ready to say. I think this is getting closer.
You ain't reached out to me in a year, 2 years.
Watch this.
We have to create a space where we allow becoming a recluse or things like that. You are people there.
I don't appreciate you. Call me thinking I would ever tell you anything.
Girl, y'all watch this. Y'all ready? I'm getting there, fam. Thank you for your patience.
Who just want to be there for you. And I think that we have to do a better job of letting people in.
I agree with that, but I'm going to push back, not on the names you mentioned, but when you said, not people just being nosy. Bitch, if you ain't reached out to me in a year, 2 years, 5 years, talking about you just want to check on Andrew, what happened, get the out of here. I'm sorry. I just want to, and you know who you are. Check your texts. Check when the last time you text me was. And see if you're confused at all about why I left your ass on red. And there are several of you. And so I don't thank you. I don't appreciate you. If you are concerned about Andrew, you can talk to God. You can talk to your therapist. But do not call me thinking I would ever tell you anything. In fact, there are people among us, Bakari, and I was I was pissed. I had to literally, my phone was ringing off the hook. People were texting me all day. And I was just pissed because I'm like, I know, number one, you don't thrive in crisis communications. There's some of my sisters who did reach out and had solutions, but there are other folks who just, and I just was feeling for Andrew and Jay because they're telling me that people are blowing them up. And I'm just like, what? Tell me what the and I'm sorry, please y'all bleep this out, but please tell me what in the world you think you're doing by doing that. There's a mug shot floating around of our brother. You think he want to hear from your dumb ass right now? Probably not. He don't even hardly talk to us most days. You know what I mean? Like,
so family, she's sitting there cussing out all the people that she said, if I hadn't heard from you in 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, or whatever else that she said there, she said first she called him a B. She stopped her saying from, she faded out the word B. And then you saw the rest of the stuff where she's sitting there cussing everybody else out and stuff. Now she's sitting here defending Andrew Gillum. Now I wanted you all to see the beginning part of the episode where, what did her co-host say, Bakari? Remember Bakari said, Andrew always defends hard. And then she asked questions later, right? Well, but she likes to defend Charlemagne of the world. Are y'all listening? But then she got the nerve to say this. I'm showing you all this part for a reason. Let me try to skip because, girl, she doing too much. Ma'am, you're doing too much. I think this is a part that's closer to where I'm going. I want you to hear one more thing she says before I move on.
Every single day. So some of the allegations, some of the ideas that you've come up with about Jay, let them go because y'all don't know what the hell you're talking about. And at some point, hopefully, Jay will be willing to address some of this stuff on her own. But I really want y'all to find a lane to occupy and stay in it. I am so irritated with some of the gossip blogs that haven't said shit about how great this show is, haven't talked at all about...
She's mad at the gossip blogs. She said they haven't said S about how good their show is. Because the show it's not good. Angela, you are mainstream media. Bakari is mainstream media. He's CNN. You was formerly CNN. You formerly was an aide on Capitol Hill. These are all y'all's buddies. See, these are the kind of people, all y'all disrespect Vicki and don't have no love for me. They're not telling you your show is good because it's not. You see how that goes? The reason why your buddies, the gossip blogs that you're cussing out now, you said they never say all the good stuff. Come here, Angela. They don't think the show is good. It's not good. Between me and you, it's not good. It's not good. So even your gossip buddies, that's why they're not covering your native land.
Way in which we constantly inform, debunk misinformation, show up in community spaces.
Wait.
Launched in America 250.
Watch all the stuff she said that's so good about native land. They little podcast of rejects. Listen.
And stay in it. I am so irritated with some of the gossip blogs that haven't said shit about how great this show is. Haven't talked at all about the way in which we constantly inform, debunk misinformation, show up in community spaces, launched an America 250 tour to go into communities, thanks to Bakari, that are second-tier markets that are generally ignored. Y'all don't talk about that, but the first time there's something salacious, you act like the white man's plan. And you go and you put that nonsense up. This was an arrest. It was not a conviction. But you go and demonize the black man the same way that you would shit on a major white publication for doing. And the other thing I want to say to y'all is, it's a trip that you have all this smoke and energy for Andrew. Some of the stuff made up, some of the posts made up, but I haven't heard y'all say anything about Nolan Wills. I haven't heard y'all make any real updates about Carmelo Anthony. I haven't heard y'all say much about some of these young people who are coming up dead by suicide, and they're found hanging from trees in the South. I haven't heard y'all say much about redistricting efforts. that would carve out and create space for more white people to run, but no black people to run. But y'all got all the smoke for Andrew. And I'm just blown by that. And I want to call you on that. I see the hypocrite you are. And next time you ask me to do anything, I'm going to tell you to get the out my face, because I will never forget this moment. And it's sad. But I do want to say, B, I want to commend the griot.
Yeah, that's what
I want to commend the griot, because what you all did was hold our brother responsibly. If we can please just bring up that clip. I am so grateful for how the griot showed up in this moment. It says, community responds with compassion and concern after former Florida gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum arrested on drug charges. And I just want to...
Family, that was a lot, wasn't it? Do y'all feel overwhelmed? Do you feel dirty, like you need to go get sage, take a bath? Do you feel like you meant to have surgery right now? Being under the sound of her voice and her energy. Emperor of Truth gave you $5. Your gift is blessed 1,000-fold. Sister Vic, these people have absolutely no idea anything about outside what they sold out to. They're lost. That's exactly right, beloved. Your gift is blessed 1,000-fold. Y'all look at me. Everything about what she said that was completely wrong. Number one, did you all hear her say that they asked her to do stuff? Because she mainstream media, remember? Angela Reid, who used her access even on Breakfast Club and a bunch of other stuff to dog us or to diminish our voices and to defend them folks. Angela, her people that are in those similar spaces, it's them that she says that ask her to do stuff. She says she ain't gonna do nothing else for them anymore. She thought that she was the exception. Watch this. And then she had the nerve to invoke making a black man look bad. These are the same people that in the Democrat Party that was dogging a black man, making like their voice didn't matter, including her colleague. Her and her colleagues were doing a good job. Her and Tiffany Cross, remember, leading up to the election. Remember how so many people was coming out against black men? They was dogging them and stuff because they weren't, in their minds, sufficiently supporting Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Y'all remember? The very party and people that was dogging black men out of concern for that. You're the very ones right now trying to invoke the fact that bringing down the black man over Andrew Gillum. Let me tell you something. Are y'all listening? Somebody said Mississippi Fire speak. Then she invokes, out of all the blogs, she thanks the griot, but she's mad at all the other ones. Look at me. The griot that she's bragging on, that black publication, years ago blocked me for my truth telling. Did I ever troll the griot? Did I tag the griot and go on their page and call them out their names and do anything? I barely even be commenting on none of these people's stuff like that. It's rare. It's only every now and then. But I never troll, and I'm never even in the people's comment sections like that, hardly. I can count on a few fingers that that's ever happened. So ask yourself, why would publications, including Byron Allen's publications, the griot, your former White House press secretary had me blocked? Why would the former White House press secretary still have me blocked when she was working at the White House on a couple of different platforms? Why are athletes triggered by Vicki Dillard and say disrespectful things about me? Why did former The View people block me? Why would Tamika Mallory, who I once respected, do? Ask yourself, why are all of these different so-called powerful, influential, famous, or important people triggered by Vicki Dillard? I'm over here in my own world, and I barely ever even tagged them publicly. I rarely am ever in their comment sections. We can count on a few fingers, not even hands. And the few times I was in the comment section, it was never, ever calling nobody out their names. Ask yourself, why would they just one day get up and just be like, oh, let's block her? So the very people she's sitting here giving credit to, is my point, the griot, they're one of the other black publications that were triggered by me so much so that they blocked me. And I don't even be fooling with them fools like that. Why did Vicki bring this up in this context? Look, when Roland Martin was out there calling us Simple Simon mother effers, when Roland did multiple broadcasts specifically invoking my name, mocking my hair, I only came for Roland when I realized he was constantly cussing out Black people. And he was cussing out Black people, calling us Simple Simon mother effers over reparations. So that's when I went in on Roland. But Angela did not go off on her mainstream media Black buddies when they dog us. Y'all notice that? It's perfectly fine. She would still brag on them, work with them, do public commentary with them. You'll see here, I'm going to show you a clip in a minute of her and Joy Reid. Now, all of a sudden, her and Joy Reid are pushing reparations. Y'all know that when Joy Reid was on MSNBC, Joy Reid put up a big chart as far back even as 2019, specifically with Foundation of Black Americans on the chart, and treated us like the enemy, made us a target, and brought on the guests to target us. That's 2019. Because we were demanding reparations and saying, holding the Democrats accountable, and saying how we wouldn't vote for them if they did not push for that. But she's buddies with them after there's more than enough proof that they made us targets, dogged us, and called us out our names. But now, all of a sudden, she wants us to cry a river over Andrew Gillum. Don't y'all find that crazy? Somebody said they're jealous and very messy. Don't y'all find it crazy that her colleagues and those that she considers to be her family and her allies publicly call her Simple Simon mother effers? She stands with Roland, who dogs me about my hair. They have nothing to say for athletes that have said things openly and publicly about me, that my hair, my braids need Gatorade. She had nothing publicly to say about a White House press secretary blocking the voice of little old Vicki Dillard. It's so many publications, nothing to say about Essence Magazine, responding to me online because of my success in exposing them for suing Black folks during Essence Fest a few years ago. But y'all brag about going to Essence Festival, but they're openly suing Black folks, and then they're blocking grassroots Black voices. But now Angela wants us to cry a river over them. Do y'all see where I'm going by bringing this up? Joy Reid basically called us Russian bots. Joy Reid said and did way more than that. Watch this. I got to show you this other clip because I'm making a point altogether. Yes? Everybody hit that thumbs up button. Share, share, share. Look at this, y'all. Joy Reid and Angela Rye did a recent podcast together. Andrew Gillum came on later, a few weeks ago. I covered this on another channel too. Watch this.
Settlements that the government needs to make so they don't have to keep going back to Congress every time. Donald Trump has now tasked.
So now Andrew Gillum, now Angela Rye.
Your phone.
Angela Rye, Andrew Gillum, and Joy Reid do a podcast a month ago. Look what the title is of their podcast that they did, y'all. Y'all see that? Look, y'all. So this was just the end of May, right? The third week of May. So about a month ago, right? Y'all see that? So white people can get reparations. That's what they're talking about right now, right? Angela Rye and Andrew Gillum, joined by Joy Reid, the host of the Joy Reid Show, right? So all of these Black folks that gave their life to the Democrat Party, the Democrat did not come to save none of these fools. All of these individuals that's on these podcasts together, the Black Democrats, are thrown away And all of these folks that you see here prioritize the Democrats over black folks. They were D1 instead of B1. When we say B1, what do we mean? We mean black first, right? No, they D1, meaning they Democrat first. But they pretend like they for us. Now look, Joy wanted us to shut up about reparations. Y'all remember? Angela, Amanda Seals, Tamika Mallory, all of these folks, when it was getting close to the election, came out to get us to be quiet and to shut up about reparations from the Democrats. How many of y'all know that? Now that all of them are fired from all the jobs that they had or hoped to have, now that the Democrats throw them away, instead of them doing broadcasts dogging the Democrats, these black bootlicks are still sitting there hoping for some biscuits and some crumbs. Are y'all listening? Y'all look, y'all. The very people that said shut up about reparations or tried to diminish our voice and tell us to wait on reparations. Look what they saying now a few weeks ago.
Please check your text messages so they can tell you how to get off of mute on the screen. There's a little microphone. Hit that microphone on your screen on the computer and you should be with us. In the meantime, though, let me tell you who's not with us. Y'all's president. Y'all's president, who has decided to not only pardon the insurrectionists that he sent to the United States Capitol January 6, 2021, but also he has now said, I'm going to pardon you. I want you to set your path in order. And I also want to give you some money for doing it, Joy Reid. He said, don't even worry about the $10 billion that I believe the IRS owes me. Let me also ensure that they have money. They can apply to 5 commissioners, Joy, and get paid. But when we ask about HR 40 or reparations, even for a study, they don't want to touch that. What you got, sis?
Wait a minute.
Apparently reparations.
She said, when we ask for reparations, Angela Rye was not wanting no reparations for this before this last election, presidential election. Y'all know that, right? Angela was not supporting candidates, Democrat candidates that wanted reparations. She was supporting the candidates like Kamala, who said specifically about reparations for Black Americans, no, I'm not going to support reparations for just y'all, doing something for just Black folks. Angela was trying to get us to shut up about that. She was supporting candidates that publicly came out against it. So now she's sitting here trying to rewrite their past and lying as if they was really for this. I hope you all know that just because somebody's out there saying technically they believe we should get reparations, but they're not making it a part of their policy, that means that they're against reparations. They're only technically saying they're for reparations to keep a couple of dumb black sheep, and I have to say it like that, that's still believing in the Democrats. They have to just say that out there as, you know, like they're blowing a dog whistle just to keep you all tricked. But if it's not a part of your actual platform and policy, that means you're not for it. And they only say they're for it when they're cornered or when they're asked about whether or not they're for reparations. But that's not actually a part of the demand. Listen to how they rewriting the story. Keep that in mind, right? Y'all listen. I'm going somewhere with this, right? Hold on. Y'all listen.
Money, they can apply to 5 commissioners, Joy, and get paid. But when we ask about HR 40 or reparations, even for a study, they don't want to touch that. What you got, sis?
Apparently reparations are something that MAGA is in favor of. And now that we know, I think it's really important for us to act on the information that we have received. Now that we know that a president can, without Congress, without going back to Congress, because who knew? You know, there's a fund that Congress has pre-appropriated, as you will know as a former congressional staffer, that sits there in case there are settlements that the government needs to make. So they don't have to keep going back to Congress every time. Donald Trump has now tasked his Justice Department to dip into that settlement fund to the tune of, and you gave me this information, $1,776, in order to give reparations to the insurrectionists. Well, now that we know, sis, the next time there's a Democratic president, I don't want to hear anything about them not being able to do reparations. I don't want to hear it anymore. Okay, so now that we understand the uses of power, we get to apply to that too. So the next time there's a Democratic president, we don't want to have a commission. We don't want to have Congress do a study. We don't want anyone to do a study. You are going to start issuing reparations to the descendants of African, formerly enslaved African people, to the Tulsa survivors' families, to the families of the survivors of every massacre that has taken place with the government of the United States either standing aside or participating. Because now we know that we can do reparations. So guess what, Papi and Mommy Chulo? The Black people are going to be coming up to the table to get reparations. That's number one. Number two,
The hell does she mean now that she knows we can get reparations? Family, Vicki Dillard, for years, already told us that we knew y'all could give us reparations, the Democrats. Why is Joy sitting there trying to trick the masses of the simple-minded by saying we got to act on the information that we know? And now that we know that the Democrats, and telling the Democrats that I don't want to hear it, next time we get a Democrat in the office, y'all gonna get, no, why isn't Joy saying Trump, Mr. President, the current president, give us reparations? Why is Joy and Angela and them trying to use this to get us to wait again for another presidential election to get reparations, trying to get us to think that next time a Democrat gonna do that? When we told you all from the beginning that the Democrats could have done something to get us tangibles, but they simply chose not to. Now here's Joy. On the one hand, she's trying to pretend like that they didn't know they could do this, right? But I don't want y'all to miss this. That's why I said I talked about this before on African Diaspora. I did the broadcast on this already, and I briefly mentioned this before, even on my on this channel. But I'm floating balloons at the same time tonight for a reason.
Because who knew? You know, there's a fund that Congress has pre-appropriated, as you will know as a former congressional staffer, that sits there in case there are settlements that the government needs to make, so they don't have to keep going back to Congress every time. Donald Trump has now tasked his Justice Department to dip into that settlement fund to the tune of, and you gave me this information, $1,776.
The reason I wanted y'all to hear that part again is Joy is trying to play us like we dumb. She said, now that we know. On the one hand, she's trying to pretend like that she didn't know that the Democrats could do this. But how did Vicki know? How did the other Black grassroots media hosts know when we told y'all for years that they could do it? How is it that we knew? And we gave you all examples, and we kept telling you, let's continue to put the pressure on the Democrat Party because we knew they could. But now Joy is magically sitting here saying she didn't know. Joy that had access to lawyers, to lawmakers, to former presidents, to former first ladies, to Hillary Clinton and them. Joy Reid, Angela Rye, who actually worked on the Hill, Angela Rye, who's an attorney. But what did Joy just slip up? What did Joy Reid just slip up and say that she don't expect us to catch? But I caught it the moment she said it. She said, Angela, you used to work on Capitol Hill. Attorney Angela Rye, you work with lawmakers. So Angela, you knew that there was this slush fund there. And you knew that there were alternative ways to get us tangibles, like we told y'all that the Democrats know ways to get money to us, but they were refusing. She just busted Angela. So now they playing dumb because of Republican Trump with his very brazen and vile ass self. But Trump with his brazenness, he still did for them criminals what we knew the Democrats should have done and could have done for those of us who created America. Are y'all listening? On the one hand, this is how you know they're playing with your mind. On the one hand, Joy wants to give the impression that Joy Reid, who always calls herself a nerd, Joy Reid, who went to an Ivy League school, Joy Reid, who worked on all these big platforms for years, Joy Reid, who had access to the top lawyers, attorneys, lawmakers, is playing dumb Congress people, world leaders. Now she's playing dumb like she didn't know. But because Trump actually accessed those alternative means to get these devils money, which that didn't fully go through, but just the fact that they know that they could have done it. Now she's trying to trick Black voters to hope in the Democrats' election coming soon. And also she's doing this because they know they're busted. Why am I bringing this up? Angela dogged us. Are y'all listening? For wanting reparations, keeping our mouths shut, treating us like we didn't know what we were talking about as it relates to elections, right? Somebody say, prove it, Vicki. Y'all remember when Angela, in the past cycle, was on the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne the God and his people? And they brought in Angela Rye as a special guest to debate Dr. Jill Stein and Dr. Butch Ware. How many of y'all know that Dr. Jill Stein and Dr. Butch Ware were the Green Party candidates for president? How many of y'all know the Green Party is specifically for reparations, and they put a plan together to get us reparations, cash to Black Americans? And Angela went on the Breakfast Club and mocked them. But Angela wants you all to believe that she was for reparations. How many of y'all remember that? Talk black to me, somebody. Y'all remember that? Is this it? Watch this. Just as a reminder. Y'all remember?
Move from that 5%,
Y'all remember? Listen to a little bit of this. Remember?
Right now, and don't let them talk you into voting for genocide. If you vote for genocide, you're...
Look, is this it?
So
y'all listen, those are the two people I'm talking about, right? Now watch this. Y'all gonna see Angela Rye, right? Look, this is from September 2024. Now Angela wants y'all to believe she's for reparations, right? While she's supporting Kamala, who's against it. While she's supporting the Democrats and Joe Biden and others that publicly said that they are against reparations. How many of y'all know that Joe Biden was on the debate stage some years ago? Obama, Hillary Clinton. Every Democrat candidate that was fighting each other to become president, the presidential candidate, said they were against reparations except for one man, and that was Dennis Kucinich. So all in all, almost every single Democrat was against it, is against it. And after that, years after that, remember Kamala was asked by a Griot reporter specifically about reparations for Black people. And that's when Kamala said she was not going to do something just for us. So keep that in mind, right? Now, I want you to hear what Butch Ware says next, right? I think, is this it?
And I'll just quote two people, Frederick Douglass.
Know that you have been.
So you would think that Angela and Charlamagne would be like, yay! She's not just saying she's for reparations. She says she's got a policy and a plan and she knows how to get it, and she's even calculated and know that we're owed trillions. You would think that Angela would have been like, oh, okay, yeah, that's good. Would y'all think that Angela would be like, oh yeah, Charlamagne and them should have been like, yeah, that's good. Are y'all listening? I said, are y'all listening? You would have thought that's what Angela would have said right there. I want you all to see how she gonna keep exposing the Democrats and how Angela is offended that she is exposing the Democrats. I'm trying to show you all how Angela is not for Black people. She's not for reparations. She is for the Democrat Party. And now her and Joy are trying to rebrand and to trick us all over again. We're not going for it. Do you all see, of all the stuff that she said, the only thing that they can harp on is they just trying to create an issue when they're sitting here talking about how their platform is pro-reparations, ending the wars, healthcare, and all this other stuff. And she said it's been there since 2012. And this is the first time that they have been on, been able, 95% of Americans will at least be able to vote for the third party. Angela, Charlemagne and them is running interference, and they're really pissed about that. They're upset that somebody like them is really giving Black folks an option to do something for us so that they can continue to defend Hillary Clinton, support the Hillary Clintons, support the Joe Bidens, and support the Kamala Harris objectives and party. Are y'all hearing me? I'm trying to show you all that Angela is a fraud when she says that she really wanted stuff for us. It's their allegiances to the Democrat Party, but they're going to continue to expose the Democrats here. Y'all keep listening. Watch this. I think this is another part where they're getting ready to make a fool of them. Y'all be patient with me. We're almost there, okay?
Here is part
Back by the.
Do you hear and see Angela's energy? That's what I want y'all to see. Every time she exposes the Democrats for being a fraud and being exactly like the Republicans, Angela hurries up and try to shut them off. Charlemagne, with his irrelevant, dirty little, nasty little, funky little, dirty little, nasty little, funky little, dirty little, nasty little, funky little self, starts to jump in. And then notice when Dr. Butch Ware said, this is the reason why we're on y'all's platforms, is because the more the masses that hear this, the more they're interested in what we're doing. Because mainstream media is trying to keep us off. Do y'all understand this is the reason why they don't have voices like Vicki Dillard there? Whenever y'all see certain platforms have so-called Black revolutionaries, but they don't bring me, it's because my energy is different. Other folks that give the appearance of being a revolutionary that the Breakfast Club repeatedly brings on is because even though they may sound like a revolutionary, their energy is safe. They know Vicki is for real. There's something else I want y'all to hear. I'm trying to find it. Listen, I think it's getting closer. But she keeps humiliating the Democrats. Y'all listen to this part. Is this it?
a lot.
Hear that? When Dr. Butch Ware said, and I'm not supporting them 100%, nothing like that. I'm just saying in the previous election, he was right about this. Did you hear him say that people, when Joe Biden was saying certain things, people that were supposed to be the revolutionaries, they called out Joe Biden, but the moment Kamala took over, they switched up. Notice Angela didn't say that's not true. She said, had you thought about why? He's sitting here saying that because they used Kamala's little piece of melanin, that's mostly Indian. Because she used that little piece of melanin, that's mostly from India, representing the empire, murder, anti-Black, and a bunch of other stuff, the so-called revolutionaries switched up. When it was Joe Biden, they was loud. When it was Kamala, they got quiet. She didn't say that's not true. She said, have you thought about why? Do y'all see that? And her mind ain't even right to where she don't know. Well, we hypocrites. No, it's not that she don't know. They bought and sold, and these people are not for us. But that ain't the only point. I want y'all to hear this other stuff that they're getting ready to say. Angela is such a trick. Angela is such a stupid little trick. She is sitting here. Do y'all notice every time they called, for example, Netanyahu a war criminal, which he is? Did you notice every time she talks about the Zionist war criminals that shedding blood and committing a genocide, and how the Democrats are the ones pushing that too? Every time he talks about the trillions of dollars that they're spending around the world shedding blood, but they could be using that domestically, and specifically all the money, trillions of dollars that can come to Black Americans. Notice that she never has a problem with no murder, genocide, or the fact that there's a way to get reparations. Don't y'all think that that's weird? That she didn't even feel any kind of way that she couldn't pull the Democrats out for equally being for and pushing that agenda? Don't y'all think it's strange that somebody like Ansel Rye, that's supposed to be so pro-Black, so pro-justice, every time someone mentions the fact that y'all are genocidal, anti-Black, war criminals, They move on like they didn't even say nothing. Charlemagne has nothing to say about that. That doesn't bother them. They skip past all of that. That's what I want y'all to focus on. Are y'all listening? Let me rewind because there's one more part. There was another part that he made earlier repeatedly, but let me at least find one specific part to where they really go in on exposing the Democrats, even though the whole hour and some change is exposing the Democrats. Y'all listen. Is this it? Y'all listen.
Problem for them. AOC wouldn't be, doing her little sorry attack ads.
Y'all listen.
If I can jump in on that particular point.
Listen.
So to kind of finish the previous one, I absolutely would not be in this race if I didn't think that we had a chance to win. I wouldn't waste y'all's time.
I think this is it.
So that's number one. We have had to, up until this point in time, target the Democrats specifically because they're the.
Wait a minute. I skipped this part. Whatchamacallit, the host asked Dr. Jill Stein and Dr. Butch, they said, well, y'all got more smoke for the Democrats. So her running mate, Dr. Butch, he jumped in and said why they got smoke for the Democrats. Now watch how Angela, Charlemagne, and everybody on there. Now you would think that if somebody lying, they would call them a liar, right?
When I wouldn't.
Do you all see how even though they're calling out the Democrats for being genocidal, support Netanyahu, anti-reparations, all Charlemagne can say is, y'all got more smoke for the Democrats? In support of Angela's little weird self. But listen to what Dr. Butch is going to say why it appears that they have more smoke for the Democrats. Y'all listening? I've talked about this many times. Y'all know that, right? This is the reason why we go off on the Democrats. And I don't want y'all to forget this.
Waste y'all's time, and I wouldn't waste my own time.
Listen, you see how Angela and that other little silly girl co-host on Breakfast Club and Charlemagne's little dumb self, they were more outraged about mispronouncing Kamala's name, which there's other ways to pronounce her name that starts with a B. But I'm a righteous goddess, so I wouldn't say that. There's other names that we can call her. But they're more outraged with mispronouncing her name than they are at not getting reparations and the Democrats supporting war criminals, and the Democrats are the ones that are going to court suing to stop the third parties from being on the ballot. Do y'all see how mentally something is really wrong with Charlemagne and Angela? They were more outraged. They were more triggered about mispronouncing this little devilish Indian lady by the name of Kamala, that's anti-black and was locking our black behinds up when she was the prosecutor and when she was attorney general, state attorney general. And the lady that came out and explicitly told the world that she not gonna do nothing just for black people. This is who they triggered over. They didn't act like that when she was talking about war criminals. Y'all saw that? I could have called her another name. But listen, y'all hear that? But let me ask y'all something too, family. Somebody said, Vicki, I asked you 2 years ago who you thought we should vote for, and you never answered. I don't remember you asking me that, ma'am. I reach a lot of people. And even if you did, that doesn't even make sense that you would ask me that. There's no way you could follow my word and be asking me who I think we should vote for. We had a strategic plan where we said that we were applying a unique pressure on the Democrats. Some black media even interviewed Dr. Butch Ware and the third-party candidate folks. They ended up subsequently falling off. So that was not a viable option. There were some issues that I even had with Dr. Butch Ware because right now I think he's running for some position in California. But even though he's pro-reparations and pro this and pro that, his team didn't win. They didn't get far like they wanted to. So that was not something fully that we needed to do. A part of our strategy, ma'am, whoever's asking me that, a part of our strategic strategy is abstention. Do you know what abstention means? Root word abstain. That means that a part of our political strategy was actually for a time not to vote, to put pressure on the party that had a level of outsized influence and a need for us. So temporarily, a part of our strategy was actually to pull back. And this is not just from those of us talking. The great Dr. Claude Anderson, who was appointed by former President Jimmy Carter, who worked in Jimmy Carter's administration in the Commerce Department. Dr. Claude Anderson, who worked in an administration in the 70s, just a few years shy of Jim Crow. He successfully negotiated in that position things for Black folks. He actually negotiated with one of the most racist congressmen that we've known in recent history at that time, Strom Thurmond. That was Dr. Claude that negotiated some stuff with him. And at that time, he helped to get Black judges on the bench, and he was working in the Commerce Department. He instructed us in his books that we're not supposed to just be voting for fun. He told us, in fact, that we need to actually withdraw for a time so that we can buy a politician, and that we're supposed to get this thing known as quid pro quo, meaning that if we vote for you, we're supposed to be getting something for it. And that's something that's economic. It's like every other group. And he was giving us strategies, not only for group economics amongst Black folks, but also electoral and voter instruction. So his books gives us the strategy. And through my commentary, I was trying to piecemeal some of that, inject that into the to the public spaces. And we know we've been successful in so many things, because did the Democrats win the presidency? Hell no. And they ended up blaming us. Did they win the Senate in the same cycle? Hell no. Did they win the House of Representatives? Hell no. Our goal was to strategically, for a time, put pressure and to withdraw until we forced some of them to come to the table with a serious offer. We have one example, for example, in California. How many of you all know that the lawmakers there were getting closer and closer, specifically in the state, for reparations? That's a blueprint for us to follow. And some of the very Black legislators that had their name on the bill for reparations, they're the ones to help sabotage it at the last minute. And it took a Republican who he was not even for reparations, to expose that it was the Democrats that was secretly sabotaging the deal from going forward right before the election. Y'all's a lily white governor, y'all a liberal governor out there, Gavin. The Black Democrats claim that the reason why they didn't put it on the floor for the last stages was because Gavin Newsom and them was threatening them, and the Democrats was threatening them. Guess what we found out? We found out from one of the top organizers there who went on radio, and I played his statement, and none of the Democrats from the legislative caucus out there could deny it, that the Black Democrats there were actually the ones holding it up, but they were allowing the governor to take the blame so that they could look like they were the good guy to keep Black folks still voting, because they didn't want to mess with that upcoming vote for the presidential election. So when that Republican ended up putting the bill on the floor and exposed that it was the Democrats that were privately went to the Republican, told him not to do it. But a Black Democrat that was an organizer on the ground also revealed that the Black Legislative Caucus in California sent Governor Newsom a private letter asking for some of the money that was allotted for reparations to get the reparations off the ground, an administrative agency they asked Governor Newsom to have some of that money redirected to some of their people, the Black Democrats. That happened based on strategic pressure, and where we need to pull back, we pull back. When we needed to expose, we exposed. We have the blueprint. And it's taken us a little bit of time, those of us who are part of the Black grassroots, to get to where we are now. But look what we accomplished in one election cycle. While all mainstream media, white and Black talking heads, was telling everybody to go Democrat, the Democrats in one session lost every major place of power, from the White House to the Senate to the House of Representatives. In Chicago, you all have seen me cover, for example, our sister Jessica Jackson over and over again. Chicago Red. We know that people like her as well expose the Democrats for trying to silence the voice of Black activists. I did broadcast showing you all that it was the Democrat mayor, Brandon Johnson, that because the Black grassroots were so politically active, they were coming out in such large numbers to the political meetings, the council meetings. It was him and his team that proposed a new policy to where to come to the meetings, they had to have a government issued ID. So while the Democrats told us that by the Republicans demanding that we have a government issued ID, they called it racist for voting. It was the Democrat that proposed to even come to the political meetings. They wanted you to have a state issue ID. It was the Democrat in Chicago. How many of y'all know during the DNC convention was in Chicago? Do you all know that the Democrats threatened not to do a live in-person convention at one time? They were considering doing a digital online convention because they were afraid that because of the Black grassroots pressure and them showing up in such large numbers at the political meetings, that they were going to embarrass them on the global stage. The world was going to see the DNC and be embarrassed. So it was the Democrats that proposed to not even have, for one time, they ended up having an in-person, but they were trying to threaten the Black folks there because the Black folks threatened to come to the convention and sabotage it, expose the Democrats. Do you know that the Democrats were the ones that made a new policy, proposed rather a policy, to have people that come to the political meetings, that they couldn't be on close to the floor with the city council people, that they basically wanted to put them basically in overflow rooms or far up in the nosebleed seats. It was a government watch organization that sent a letter to Brandon Johnson to tell his funny looking ass, sir, you might be violating the law with those proposals. That's the reason why it didn't go through. And just like I showed you a few minutes ago, for those of you that voted for the Democrats anyway, what did Reid just admit? What did Angela Rye and them admit in their joint podcast? They admitted that with no need for a new bill, with no need for the Republicans to vote for it, Joe Biden, like Trump, could have used that slush fund and specifically directed some money with no need for any votes, no needs for any bills for Black Americans. You're not listening good. You're not following me. You are trying to ask me simple questions because you don't want to be a part of the revolution to do the hard work. There is no way you can be following my work and not know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. You don't want to thank whoever just asked me that question. You want to go to your job and work. You want to watch Vicki like you watching TV, a little football show, or a little TV series. And you want me to come up with all the solutions and carry all the weight. Now, I know some of you all like, Vicki, it wasn't that deep. Yes, it is that deep. I'm the prophetess here. And I'm trying to let you all know that you ain't treating this like you really in a war. Because when I'm saying something, you're supposed to be taking the ideas I'm giving you. When I click on, you're supposed to be mulling over that. And you're supposed to be assessing your circumstance, your situation, your lives, your gifts, your skill, your town, your city. And you're supposed to be trying to figure out what you can do about what you just heard. I have done numerous shows quoting specific strategy from Dr. Claude Anderson, Powernomics. I have given you all specific strategies on things that we could do. And you sit here saying that you asked me that. You of 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, million people that have watched me over the past couple of years, probably millions of views cumulative all over the place on multiple platforms over the past few years. And you saying you asked me a few years ago who we should vote for, and I didn't answer. You are not treating this like you're in a real war. Because you are supposed to be a soldier too. There are different types of soldiers. If I'm giving you information, if I'm giving you the strategy and insight, you are supposed to be assessing the situation and see where you're. I have gone to Chicago and done a Black town hall where people showed up. I just came from Columbus, Ohio a few weeks ago with some of my colleagues, met some of you all in person. I'm planning another Black town hall here in a few weeks. I'm going to be announcing it so that we can do strategy and activism. Some of the people that show up in Chicago, the activists there, do you all know that some of the activists have actually written a bill for some of the proposals that could be used as a blueprint for other places? Have you been out there to California, ma'am, with those people that I've covered? The activists that are on the ground, the Black activists, everyday people that's on the ground that force the hand of their local lawmakers to get reparations that far. Have you been out there to ask them how were they so successful in getting it that far? To see what you can do in your own city and place to push for real change? These are numerous different things that we could do. It's on you, ma'am. Not what you look like asking me that. I'm already doing enough as a one-woman show. And I'm looking to do more. You got Black organizers on the ground that have written bills, that are engaging with their Congress people. You got Chicago people that stop folks from using their neighborhoods for these illegal immigrants, criminal illegal immigrants in their neighborhoods, from taking over certain buildings and other things. You got other folks that are responsible for getting other laws and other local policies pushed. How come you're not doing those types of things to make our efforts, basically to aggregate our efforts? It's still Black folks that's still out there voting for the Democrats. We need even more of them. Joy is fired from MSNBC. Angela Rye is fired from CNN. Roland is fired from CNN. Tiffany Cross is fired from MSNBC. Andrew Gillum, the Democrats don't want him. We're saying that more pressure needs to continuously be put on them. Do you see how Angela and Joy are now talking about reparations? Even if they tricking. I gave other things like the tax code, where they're getting the Armenians tax write-offs that don't require no bill from Congress. Are you strategizing on what could be done for them to change the IRS tax code, or to press Trump, or to press Congress people, or to press other organizers to demand that they do the same to right now the Black folks without the need for congressional bills and laws being passed. We could also start with getting write-offs for that. I've done broadcasts showing you when Asians during the COVID pandemic was lying about stop Asian hate on a mass scale and blaming Black folks for all of their attacks. That was the impression they were trying to give. I told y'all there was a finesse then. It was only a couple of them that might have been attacked. And it was white folks that was disproportionately attacking the handful of them that were attacked. And the couple of Black folks that attacked them, somebody was mentally ill and others looked like they was put up to do it. Asians, I told y'all, did that. The AAPI community, because their businesses were suffering during the pandemic because of the lockdowns. So both Republican and Democrats joined in to help push to give them a crime bill. That was just for the bill. The Democrats were in the White House. The Democrats controlled Congress at the time. Without no need for a bill for the money, they used that as an excuse to redirect money that was already in different agencies to just their community. But they had to generate hate for Black folks to get the Republicans and Democrats on board to just give them that little law and to justify why they was funneling money into just the Asian communities. Those are real solutions I'm giving y'all. I was giving you those examples to show you those are things that we can do now. And that had nothing to do with no voting, ma'am. You need to be figuring out things that you can do outside of this live to help your people. And not asking me in the chat that question when I had been more than explicit. I've said that and so much more. I gotta go. There were other points that I wanted to make, but I don't have time. Look, did you hear Angela lie earlier about them being for reparations? And now her and Joy all of a sudden saying that now that we know that the Democrats can give us reparations by using their slush fund. They knew the whole time, but they playing with you. Ma'am, when you ask me who to vote for, how many of y'all's or your family members that still was voting for Democrats? And they still didn't do nothing for you. That slush fund had nothing to do with pushing a law through or voting a certain type of way. We're trying to tell you that us focusing just on voting is a trick. There are other forms of pressure. One of the things that we know, even through some of the principles of powernomics, the Asian community, other communities, they don't vote in large numbers like Black folks do, but they get everything they want. There's hardly a major city that you go into where there's not like an Asian town. So it's not just about voting. And when some of them do vote, they're strategic. And they got enough money to where they're able to buy the politician, in so many words, to get quid pro quo, something that benefits them in their community. That's what I'm trying to say. Back to my point. I spent a whole lot of time and I done got all the way off of my topic. But somebody needed to hear that by somebody making that statement. That's really lazy, family. You all got to take responsibility for your own liberation. It's not just people online. It's not just our job. We got a lot on our plate. We're doing our part now. Where are our foot soldiers at? Somebody said, don't let them throw you off quick. Oh, no, they're not throwing me off. When I say throw me off, I'm just saying I'm off the topic. But what I'm saying is still needed. Because sometimes when there are certain people that I respond to, that means that there might be 1,000 more out there just like them, or a specific point in the spirit that I need to release something over these airwaves. That meant that what I was planning to do, it might have been derailed divinely because that needed to be addressed. Did you all hear Angela say that these other folks, these other people these blogs that's exposing her colleague, Andrew Gillum? Did you hear her say something about the fact that they're not doing a lot of talking about redistricting? No, Angela. Let me end and end my broadcast tonight. It's been late enough. No, Angela. What has Vicki been talking about for the past couple of plus years now on different places? Look at this article. This article from ProPublica. I've been talking about this over and over again. Y'all see this headline? What does it say? What does it say, family? What year is this from? This is from 2023. Y'all see this? But the time this happened was a couple of years before that. But this is when it was revealed in this public article. Y'all see this? What is this about? Representative James Clyburn protected his district at a cost to Black Democrats. What did Representative James Clyburn do? Look at this first paragraph. What does it say? The meeting was arranged in secret. Y'all see that? November 19th, 2021. Y'all see that? November 19th, 2021. A secret meeting with who? The chief of staff for James Clyburn. Y'all see that? Dalton Trezvant, who's a key aide to Jim Clyburn, the state's most powerful Democrat. What did very, very, very long term and very, 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 very Black and very, very deep South Congressperson James Clyburn? Why are they putting an article in him about him redistricting? And with who? It gives the receipts about the text message and about the meeting. What meeting? Look at the screen. The state legislature had begun the crucial task of redrawing voting district lines after the 2020 census. Even small changes in the lines can mean the difference between who could win office, whose losses, and which party holds power. As the process commenced, look, y'all, Clyburn had a problem. His once majority Black district had suffered a daunting exodus of residents since the last count. He wanted his seat to be made as secure or as safe as possible, rather. What else happened? Look, so you know I ain't making it up. Republicans understood the powerful Black Democrat could not be ignored, even though he came from the opposing party and had no official role in the state level process. Fortunately for them, what happened? Clyburn, who is 82 at the time, which means his funny looking self is, I think, 84, 85 now, was recently reelected to his 16th term, had long ago made peace with the art of bartering. What happened? Just so y'all know, and I get to the point, James Clyburn aides secretly met with them, with the Republicans, to redistrict, to help the Republicans. But in secretly meeting with the Republicans, James Clyburn just wanted them to make sure his seat, his district was safe. And because of that agreement that they made, it meant that no other Democrat, which has an outsized impact on Black voters, would get a chance at a congressional seat again because of that agreement he made. Why did I bring this up? Look at me. And why for the past 2.5+ years I've been talking about this. Why is it when you hear Democrats talking about the Republicans redistricting to take away Black votes, none of them never talk about what Black James Clyburn did in working with them? You heard a clip, if you watched the beginning of the broadcast, where Angela said that folks are not talking about redistricting, but the Democrats are keeping quiet that one of their top most long-serving Democrat, who's Black, secretly worked with the Republicans to redistrict at the cost of Black voters. Why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing up all of these different balloons that I'm floating to tell you, Angela wants us to be sympathetic to people that's covering the trouble that her colleague, Andrew Gillum, is in. But Angela, Tiffany Rye, her former co-host, Bakari Sellers, by the way, Bakari Sellers knew James Clyburn did it. Bakari Sellers, who's from down south and an attorney, he quietly acknowledged he did it, but he kept it quiet and didn't publicly go off on James Clyburn in recent times like he should. Why is it, like Dr. Butch mentioned, when the revolutionaries allegedly was calling out Joe Biden for his imperialist anti-Black stance, they allowed it. But the moment Kamala ran, it was okay to be anti-Black, it was okay to be anti-reparations, and it was okay to be a war criminal. I'm trying to show you that we have no business feeling sorry for Angela or any of the Black Democrats when they believe in our voices being silenced, and when they were in those high positions, they actually worked to silence us. When the Democrats were in positions of power to get us reparations in creative ways, Angela knew it. Joy, very likely and no doubt, knew that there was pressure that we could put on the Democrats to get us tangibles, and they refused. Do y'all see where I'm going? I'm trying to say that all of the stuff that the Democrats are claiming is a problem for the Republicans, including redistricting, that you have the top Democrats who are the longest serving, secretly helping to redistrict with the Republicans at the cost of Black voters. And Angela isn't highlighting it. Roland isn't highlighting it. Joy isn't highlighting it. They gave us the middle finger and mocked us for publicly demanding reparations. But I'm showing you now a couple of them trying to come over to our side, but it's just talking points. I'm saying we need to keep the pressure on with what we're doing now, because the fact that they feel compelled to even try to steal our talking points means they know they're in big trouble. So we need to keep mashing the gas, because clearly what we're doing is moving the needle. For those of you that act like you don't understand what I'm talking about. It was us that turned the tide of the election. And because the Democrats still haven't learned their lesson, I'm saying we need to keep applying that pressure. And I'm saying there's still even more strategic things that we need to do, which is why I have literally conducted a Black Town Hall in Chicago, which is why I personally am looking to conduct another one so that we can strategize in person and to organize more. But I'm bringing up California, I'm bringing up Chicago, because I'm trying to tell you that there are actually other Black grassroots folks that are getting things done that you could be working with while we're doing what we're doing now. Does that make sense? Family, is late. I'm going to have to do part 2. I got to go, okay? I'm going to put a pin in it because there are other things, a lot more that I was supposed to say. But we're all sleepy and about dizzy. Vicki, you are completely correct. FBAs must continue to stay focused on our own Black business, which will help us to achieve and educate and prepare the next generation for future leaders. Absolutely. Sister Vicki, your beauty comes like that even if you're up late. Oh, you're so sweet. Family, thank you all for tuning in. Those of you that showed up at midnight, Now it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. And it's about midnight on this time, and it's about 1 o'clock on somebody else's time, and whatever other time on the other. Yeah, we got to go. I love you so much. Save your seat for my ancestors webinar, July 31st. Everybody under the sound of my voice, I don't care what you got going on. Listen at me good. There is absolutely nothing more important. Voting, nothing going on in your life is more important than getting your spiritual life together, your ancestral vibration properly aligned. Why? Because everything you're dealing with now proceeds from that. But we've been doing things in reverse. We've been trying to manipulate and to change our lives. We're doing things on the outside first. That's out of order. When you get your life spiritually aligned and ancestrally aligned, that's when you will begin to see shifts in the life around you. That's the reason why you will be out of your mind to miss my upcoming ancestors webinar and make that investment in yourself, in your children's life. If you feel like you're dealing with family curses, if you feel like that you're dealing with blockages that can't be explained, it's very likely that there is an unseen force that's blocking you, that's connected ancestrally. My webinar is meant to address some of that. There's an ongoing thing that you must do, but by you coming is a start. It's meant to begin to turn the tide. How many of you all know that on a ship, and even with your car, the thing that drives the big ship is a very small wheel, right? You want to recalibrate that. That's what you're doing when you deal with your spirit, when you deal with your spiritual life. And when you get the spiritual life turning in the right direction, when you turn that steering wheel a certain way, what happens? It has the ability to do what? Move the whole ship in a whole other direction, right? And it doesn't mean that you're going to get to where you want to go overnight, but you're going to begin to do what? Change the trajectory of your life so that you can begin to go down the right path. Some of you all, you know darn well that you're getting older. Many of you don't feel like that you have gotten where you want to in life, and you're feeling hopeless, you're feeling blocked. I'm suggesting that we not be focused on our credit right now. I'm suggesting that we don't be focused on whether or not we got a big enough IRA. I don't care what's in your bank account. I don't care how many degrees you got. I don't care what your station is in life. I'm saying that we're going to go spiritual first. We're the most ancient human beings on the planet. Do you all know that they're using our melanin out of space? Do you all know that they pad the sides of outer space crafts with our black melanin? You all understand that they have made breakthroughs in technology, in the medical industry, in the sciences with our melanin. But what they're not telling you is that, and this is the thing that they want to keep us ignorant of, that there's something that we can do with what's already in us that actually can control our economic condition. Family, stop trolling in the chat. Family, stop being triggered about African stuff and paying African, whatever y'all doing in the chat. Stop that. Because I'm going to block all y'all. I'm not talking about none of that stuff. Focus on what I'm saying. Just the fact that y'all even going back and forth. Y'all know how little silly trolls would do, say dumb stuff. Focus on what I'm saying. Don't fill up my chat with no stupid stuff. Let the little weirdos talk crazy stuff. And if you don't stop, I'm getting ready to block all you weirdos. Y'all know all somebody got to do is say Pan-Africanism. All somebody got to do is say Africanism, and you all trigger. Let them little weirdos talk. And the little weirdos, if I see that little weirdo again, whoever started it, which I don't know who did it, I'm just seeing a bunch of comments. That's what make me fuss now. Whoever started it, I'm certainly going to block your funny looking self if I see you again. Spam my comments with that stupid stuff. Now look at me. Look at me, family. If they are going out of space, if they're making technologies, if they're getting breakthroughs in sciences with your melanin, they're not telling you that. What else are they not telling you? Look at me. Most people are shocked, even though all the Epstein stuff hadn't even been told. But the few things that we know from the Epstein files, most people are shocked that the most religious people, the most influential people, and some of the richest people, the so-called most spiritual people, were doing occult magic. What does that tell you? What else are they keeping from you that you don't know about? That there's something that we are born with, our bloodlines and our energetic lineage, our cosmic lineage. They're not telling you that's the secret to our prosperity. I'm saying by you coming to my Ancestors webinar is the beginning of you accessing your true prosperity that's outside of a FICO score and what your bank statement is saying and how much you're getting paid an hour. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Somebody just said they injecting themselves without, baby, they doing all kinds of stuff without melanin. But yet and still, you all, most of us, are still only looking to your 9 to 5. And if anybody tells you there's another way to bring resources in your life, you automatically mock them. You know why? Because you're trained by the counter matrix. So you help to defend the existence of these devils by you forcing our compliance and normalizing that being the only way to quote unquote make a living. If our ancient ancestors, which some of you all don't know, there's a lot of secret stuff that the powers that shouldn't be hide from us because they know that they're using some of our secrets to bring prosperity. And that prosperity has the ability to come in more than one way, outside of their institutions, outside of their systems, outside of their establishment methods and protocols. Okay, whoever just said that, guess what? You out of here. Whoever spamming my chat, you block. So family, don't even react to the person that's trolling. Now look at me. Go to my website, VickiPlan.com, save your seat, make the investment for you and your family. What you're doing now, we know for sure what you're making each hour ain't cutting and giving you the life of your dreams. We know that for sure. For some of you, we know for sure that if you're working 2 jobs, you know it still ain't enough. So what you look like mocking what might be the seed of a new life for a minimal investment that's got to do with your new spiritual path and your family lineage and getting secrets about your ancestors that the powers that be didn't tell you, that your religions didn't tell you, and perhaps even some of your most immediate ancestors didn't know to tell you. You must be out of your mind. Whoever just said that, if you're enjoying the broadcast, like and share. Thank you so much for saying that. Yes, like, share, and hype, family. Let me see you there. July 31st. I love you so much. I'm your sister with the curly braids. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Vicki X Dillard. Follow me on I got 2 Facebook pages. I got a fan page and a regular page, but make sure all these pages are verified because there are fake people out there. Follow me on X at Dillard Vicki. And make sure that you check the community page here if you're watching me on YouTube, for example. Yes, stay in touch. Let me see you July 31st. I don't care what you got going on. This is a very cosmic, auspicious time to do ancestral work. And the work that you do with me on July 31st, my goal is for you to start seeding the next 6 months of your life so that you can start seeing movement and breakthroughs in your life in the upcoming next 6 months. But the time starts now because this is a very auspicious season cosmologically. You understand? And initially, my mind wasn't on that when Spirit directed me to do this. I got 3, 4 other launches I'm supposed to be doing right now. I was guided to do this. You understand? Which means that a lot of times when I'm guided, it's because some of your spiritual team, some of your ancestors were prodding somebody like me to pull you in. Let me tell you something. There are parts of you that's blocked. Some of you all don't even know the extension of your power, that some of your own ancestors have been trying to connect with you, but you're hard of hearing. You are busy with life and the cares of life. So sometimes they use different methods and means to get your attention to connect with them. Some of you have other spirit guides, other spiritual forces or entities that help to pull you and to draw you. Somebody just said, Vicki, before you go, what's your cash app? You so sweet. Let me see. Can we do this here? Y'all, this crap. Let me see if I can pin this. Can I do it? Okay. See if you can see it in the chat, beloved. $ OPWVICKI. $OPWVICKI. $OPWVICKI. I love you all so much. Let me see you July 31st. Share this broadcast. Hype this broadcast. I can't wait to see you again.